Welcome back to yet another Mech Deck Tech. Thunder Junction is done, but we have a few weeks between that and some Modern Horizons 3 leaks. By which I mean previews and whatnot. So with that being said, we're going to do a custom deck tech for Narset Enlightened Exile. This is a Prowess focus deck. Looking at some Jeskai colors, focusing a lot on really the Prowess mechanic, but a few other things that do some magecrafty things in a similar vein, if you will. So, with that being said, let's get started. Narset Enlightened Exile is a 3/4 for 4, gives all of your creatures prowess, and whenever it attacks, you get to exile a non-creature, non-land card with mana value less than Narset's power from the grave and copy it. You get to cast a copy for free. So while we are generally using that ability to cast some instant and sorceries from the grave, it's certainly not the only thing we have access to. It does technically affect planeswalkers, it affects mana rocks, enchantments, basically anything that's not a creature. So how are we supporting Narset? Well, we're supporting them in a few ways. Starting with Jaya, Fiery Negotiator, a 4 loyalty planeswalker for 4 mana that's going to create us for a +1 loyalty, a 1/1 red monk creature that already has prowess. Creatures can have multiple instances of prowess. It's one of those keywords, right, where you could stack it multiple times and trigger each version or each instance of prowess. They have a lot of other important effects, including their ultimate, which would have us gain an emblem, so whenever we cast a red instant or sorcery, we get to copy it twice. The copying is actually less valuable to us overall. Prowess only really cares about casting. Doesn't care if you're copying. But we do have some magecraft things going on, so it does balance out a little bit for us. Alright, with that individual planeswalker that happens to do the prowess thing kind of out of the way, I'm going to rapid fire some creatures here that have prowess. Abbot of the Carol Keep, Aisha of Sparks and Smoke, Bloodwater Entity. Curious Homunculus doesn't, but should you reach the ability to transform it, you get a Voracious Raider, which does in fact not only have prowess, but reduces the cost of some instants and sorceries. Elsha of the Infinite is a 3/3 for 5 that not only has prowess, but lets us take a look at the top of our deck, and we get to cast non-land, non-creature cards off the top, and we could do so as if those cards had flash. Mistfire Adept, prowess, and passes out flying for casting these non-creature spells as well. Lila, Undefeated Slickshot, 3/3 for 3, has prowess. Whenever we cast a multicolored instant or sorcery, we get to do some extra stuff. We don't really do that here. They're really just here to be another prowess creature for us. Kenra, Spell Spear, 2/2 for 2, trample, prowess, and we can transform them to be a 3/3 trample ward 2 instances of prowess. Monastery Mentor, prowess. Whenever we cast a non-creature spell, we get to create more monks, each of which have prowess. Monastery Swift Spear, hasty 1/2 with prowess. Soulscar Mage, 1/2 prowess for 1. If we would deal non-combat damage to a creature an opponent controls, it deals it in the form of -1/-1 counters, which gets around indestructible. So, those are all of the prowess that we have. We do have some other magecraft type effects, as well as a few bonuses. Archmage Emeritus is going to let us draw an extra card every time we cast our copy. Super strong. Balmor, Battlemage Captain, is a flying 1/3 for 2 whenever we cast an instant or sorcery. All of our creatures gain +1/+0 and trample. Guttersnipe is a flat 2 damage. It is only on cast. I would maybe consider getting rid of him for something else, just because, like, although definitely a strong effect, it's not really the direction that we're taking the deck in. Kaikar is a flying 3/3 for 4. Whenever we cast non-creature spells, we get spirits, and we can sacrifice those spirits to add red mana. Ledger Shredder, whenever a player casts their second spell each turn, this Ledger Shredder will connive. Pretty strong, we're almost always going to cast at least 2 spells a turn. Feeding the Graveyard could feed Narset as well. Leonin Lightscribe is shockingly, in my opinion, undervalued. This thing goes for like a quarter to 50 cents, but it beefs up your entire team. Granted, it's for the turn, and I get that, but like, my god. So strong. Stormkiln Artist is another mage crafty boy. They're giving us treasures. It's kind of going to let us just continue feeding the cycle. Sprite Dragon, so not prowess, but kind of better prowess. So whenever we cast any non-creature spell, it is permanently getting bigger. It's also a flying hasty boy, so we love that. Slick Shot, show off. This is an all-star, it's rising in price, it's sitting around like the $12 to $15 mark right now, I think. But 2 mana, flying, 2/1 with haste, whenever you cast non-creature spells, it gets +2/+0, you could plot it. We don't really care about plotting it so much in this deck, but like, it's good. Narset Enlightened Master is a 3/2 for 6, so a little more expensive than the main Narset that we're using. But whenever they attack, we exile the top 4, we get to cast non-creature spells from among those for free. Veyron, Voice of Duality. So Magecraft, it gets bigger, and whenever casting an instant or sorcery causes any triggered ability of a permanent we control to trigger, it triggers an extra time. So it's going to double up prowess for us. Third Path Iconoclast, non-creature spells give us soldiers. Talran Sky Summoner is like, hey, you casting some spells? Cool, have some 2/2 flying drakes. And I'm like, hey, thanks, I'll take it. Stormwing Entity costs a little less if we've already cast an instant or sorcery for the turn, has prowess when it ETBs, we do get to scry too. Moving back up into Planeswalkers, we have Narset of the Ancient Way, a 4-cost 4 loyalty Planeswalker. Plus is going to gain us some life and a little bit of mana to cast these non-creature spells. -2 is going to let us draw a card, discard a card. Whenever we discard a non-land card this way, we're going to deal damage equal to its value to a creature or planeswalker. And, kind of more importantly, if we get up to 6, I would immediately ult this Narset, giving us an emblem that makes it so whenever we cast these non-creature spells, we get to deal 2 damage to any target. Saheeli Sublime Artificer. So Saheeli Sublime Artificer is going to give us servos whenever we cast these non-creature spells. The -2 ability could be cool, but it's not really what we're here for. Let's skip over our proper spell-slinging nature. We'll get to those last. And just look at some artifacts. So we have an Arcane Signet, just a mana rock. Isochron Scepter, it does cast the thing that it copies, which is important for prowess specifically. Is it Signet, such as Mana Rock, Soul Ring, Mana Rock, Talisman of Creativity? You guessed it, it's a Mana Rock. Moving down into enchantments, we have Arcane Bombardment, so just a way to, again, recur a bunch of spells that we've cast. The first one we cast each turn will get basically exiled at random. So it's not necessarily guaranteed unless we don't have any in the grave by the time we have Arcane Bombardment out. A little unlikely, but could happen. Case of the Ransacked Lab, it is a nice little reduction for our instants and sorceries. If we've cast at least 4 in a single turn, we get to solve it, and whenever it's solved and we cast an instant or sorcery, we do get to draw a card. Firing Inscription, much like the last spell-slinging deck that I did, not really here for that ring tempt. It's a nice little bonus, whatever. Really here, so whenever we cast instants and sorceries, we're dealing 2 to each opponent. Jeskai Ascendancy is basically prowess. It also untaps our creatures, so that's kind of cool. And whenever we cast a non-creature spell, we could draw. If we do, we have to discard. So again, kind of feeding Narset a little bit. Shark Typhoon. Honestly, a lot of our spells aren't super expensive, so I'm kind of considering removing this for something else. Just because like 6 mana is a lot for it. You know what I mean? What are your thoughts? Should I take out Shark Typhoon? Last but certainly not least is Whirlwind of Thought. So whenever we cast a non-creature spell, we do get to draw a card. Let's sling them spells, right? So I'm just going to go over them all real quick. I don't really feel like any are major standouts. I will touch on like 1, maybe 2 that kind of do the job, but we'll kind of rapid fire this to keep it going. So we have Swords, Snap, Path, Opt, Jeskai Charm, Frantic Search, Boros Charm, Brainstorm, Consider, Cyclonic Rift, Dramatic Reversal, Expedite, and Fists of Flame. Dramatic Reversal is the one exception to the I'm not going to stop and talk about it. We all know that it combos with Isochron Scepter, but if you add in a Soul Ring, you actually have infinite Prowess triggers. Meaning, if your commander's out on the field, you have an infinitely large however many creatures you have. Moving up into the slower, but no less valuable sorceries. So we have Warlord's Fury, Crash Through, Expressive Iteration, Faithless Looting, Jeskai's Will, Ponder, Preordain, and Serum Visions. But guys, that is the deck. Hopefully you liked it. I know that we have an adorable otter coming out soon, and I'm definitely going to pick up that starter kit to get it. And they're going to get slotted right in here with the rest of them. But I am getting married, not tomorrow, but next Saturday. I'm going to try and have a video prepared and already uploaded. But if I don't, you know, please forgive me. But guys, until next time, I'm Mech. Good luck with your builds. Subscribe to the channel, join the Discord. We're going to try and be more active in there. All that jazz. Ramble, ramble, ramble. You guys rock.